What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today I bring you the Tech Giant build. This takes the massive survivability from Medic and gives you a great damage boost from Invader, also allowing you to warp out of reality and Shade Step to your heart's content. When it comes to some of the bosses we won't be able to melee, I found a decent set of guns that puts in work even when they aren't being buffed by rings. Also, this variation of Invincible Healer works as a solo player, since the last one I made was more co-op centered. For your Prime class, you want Medic. This greatly improves healing efficiency and grants a 25% increase to all damage. Another fun thing is we get a green bar above our health. This will fill up as we heal ourselves or teammates and grants a relic back. If used correctly, you can always have your relics. Oh, and using a relic grants some stagger resist, which you can use to not get knocked over by an attack. For the skill, I run Healing Shield. This grants a big bump in defense real quick you can use to survive harder hitting attacks, or save yourself if you forget to take a relic. Also, I just love the animation and it feels more tech-like than the other healing skills. For your second class, you want Invader. Now, Invader's a tricky class because it has a lot going on. To easily summarize it, you get a decoy when you use a relic, then evade. This grants you more lifesteal on the enemy fighting the decoy, and I found it much easier to melee bosses when they were trying to beat up a hologram. It grants you a bit more leeway to get out of situations, and actually improves melee damage by a good amount just from running Invader in the first place. The big ticket item, however, is the skill. Wormhole will send you through space and time with a good distance teleport. Not only is this fantastic for getting away from bosses, but it grants 300% more damage. So you warp in next to whatever you're fighting, and boom, your next melee attack hits for big damage. Ideally, you're going to use the charge attack as it's much better for damage, but either way, it buffs your next attack. Against mobs, this is an extremely fun way to play, and gives you the freedom to make a cheeky escape for a quick heal. Invader is the most fun class for me. I just love how unique the skills pair with your build, and Wormhole is a very fun one to mess with here. As for armor, I hate running the same old thing every time, so why not run Alito's Mark 1? This set looks much more like an Iron Giant and still provides enough defense to tank most attacks. You might also notice that Lito's Mark 1 is heavier than Mark 2. We want to be as heavy as possible, as the more encumbrance we have grants us more damage from one of our rings. So while Lito's Mark 1 seems like a fashion choice, it's actually a major component of the build. For this relic, I use Resonating Heart. For those who watch my Immortal Medic Summoner video, this principle works the same way. The heart heals you, but then after 5 seconds will double the healing for the next 20 seconds, allowing you to tank any hit during that 20 seconds and regain your relic at the same time. It's currently the most efficient tank setup as it has the least amount of upkeep from you, the player. For the relic fragments, I run Healing Effectiveness, Health, and Armor Effectiveness. These keep you from dying to attacks while your healing is active and provides you with much more time to be on the attack. So this is a melee build, and of course that means our melee weapon is the focus, but guns do need to be decent enough, and I found this loadout to work best. The Huntmaster grants a lot of damage without needing to be reloaded every bullet like the sniper. It's a very reliable option that makes up for melee's lack of range and finesse. With the Invader skills, you can get a high-powered shot off, which really helps in the more troublesome bosses. As for the mod, I run Blood Draw. It's easily my favorite weapon mod now, although it doesn't actually work all the time. The thing latches a chain to an enemy and pulls them forward, applying big bleed damage. It's very good for some instant bleed damage, but unfortunately its hitbox is really wonky. You have to kind of mess around with it to know where it's going to hit best on that enemy, and even then sometimes it doesn't work. But regardless, it's fun, and my favorite to use here. Use the Feedback Mutator as it grants much faster mod regen for the Blood Draw. This helps us keep a good amount of bleed damage on the enemy all the time, and if you think this doesn't give me an idea for a Scorpion build, you're crazy. The melee option I chose was the Gas Giant. I used a variety of things, but this big guy was my best friend. It hits big and also applies Corroded, which makes enemies take more damage. You can also charge it up for a big backdash hit that leaves an acid cloud behind, although I rarely use it due to the shade step that we have. All around fun weapon to use, and the acid damage is very, very helpful. The Mutator is easily your most important part here, as you need Steadfast. Most people are running melee builds with Challenger because its skill makes you unstaggerable. With this setup, we can be immune to damage, but not stagger, and it gets annoying at times. However, Steadfast makes you immune to stagger when charging an attack, also granting you 20% more damage reduction. So if you see a big hit coming, charge attack and simply eat right through it. Unfortunately, this means we miss out on some high damage mutators, but it's so helpful for the build that I think it's worth it. Lastly, we have Meridian. If there is anything I know about this gun, it's that it's insanely powerful. With nothing buffing it, you can still output some nutty damage. Great for bosses that fly or move around too quickly for the melee to be efficient. It's something that just works and will be very fun to use as well. Throw on the Harmonizer Mutator for more mod damage and faster generation of the Other Weapons mod, which makes the blood draw come back in seconds. So for the jewelry, we have a setup that provides high survivability with a bit more damage. Red Doe Sigil increases relic healing effectiveness by 30%, which doubles when the wearer's health is below 50%. You basically can't die with this on when using the Resonating Heart. Ring of Robust increases max health by 10 and armor by 15, making you a walking tank like no other. Ring of Omens. Aha! We need to talk about this. So, this ring makes your evades cost health instead of stamina. But what's interesting is that our medic with the Resonating Heart always keeps us healing, which not only grants you relic charge on dodging, but grants you limitless dodges that you can spam. And when you pair up the Ring of Omens with the Red Doe Sigil, your dodge now becomes a Shade Step, or you teleport a short distance. This removes any weight effect from your dodge, allowing you to have a flop dodge and never flop. With this amulet and the Ring of Omens paired together, you get way more fun out of this build, and the Shade Step makes dodging attacks a million times easier. Very fun, and with this build, there's no side effect from using it. Seal of the Empress increases max health by 20 and reduces stamina by 10. We don't need stamina to dodge, so this works pretty well. Haymaker's Ring. This is the cherry on top of the sundae as it increases melee damage by 0.2% for every 1 point of armor encumbrance, meaning that our 95 weight is going to make us not flop dodge and grant us a high bonus for our melee damage. It's almost the perfect ring for this setup. As for traits, you have some wiggle room like in most builds, but here's what I used. Fortify for a massive jump in armor effectiveness, providing that sweet tank potential. Regrowth for 1.5 health regen per second, allowing our healing to work exceptionally well. Triage so we can heal through anything with better healing effectiveness. Untouchable isn't really needed here, but it comes with Invader for a better evade window. Vigor for more health as we need to tank hits. No endurance this time, as we don't use it to dodge, but we will grab Spirit and Expertise for mods and skills. Now, one that I didn't run in the video, but think that you should use here is Arcane Strike. This increases mod generation from melee by 50%, which is a big bump that will get both your guns to have really fast mod regen. Lastly, we run Bark Skin for reducing all damage by 10%. With all these traits, you have insane healing, great defense, and really good mod regen. I will recommend one more thing, that being consumables. If you are trying to charge attack more often, grab Mudtooth's Stew for a bit more stamina, but most of the time I ran with Mudtooth's Tonic as the extra health makes us invincible. As you can see from the footage, I'm not outputting the craziest damage you've ever seen, but I am beating every boss with a simple hammer and winning. This is a very fun build that allows you to use Shade Step, Teleport, and invincible heavy melee attacks. I beat the Cancer boss with this very easily, and the Ravager went down with no effort at all. Obviously, flying bosses are trouble, as we need to rely on guns, and for the last boss, you're better off just throwing on Enigma for the balls and using at least one weak spot ring. But the classes in Shade Step are very helpful for every fight. You can actually use the teleport skill as a dodge, which makes combat feel very smooth and fast-paced. Skip the dodge sequence altogether and jump right in for a nice big attack. Now, unfortunately, it won't be the best thing ever for every boss, but I loved my playthrough. If you're excited to do more melee but tired of melee builds that can easily die, then this is the perfect one for you. We become immortal from Medic and use the Invader to mess with bosses as much as possible. Oh, and the Huntsmaster is a very reliable weapon. Super nice all-rounder that you need to check out. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you did, a like would be awesome. This was a very fun style of melee that I had a great time with, and all except a few flying bosses, it worked like a charm. Good luck hammering your way through Remnant 2, and I'll catch you next time.